Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Railway Cottage. Thanks for popping in. I just thought I would do an update of my studio. As you know, we flooded back in the Easter holidays. We had a couple of inches of water completely through underneath our house. And there's quite a bit of stuff down here. We have a two-story Queenslander, and downstairs is my studio, my son's bedroom, bar, lots of storage, which is now all at the dump, which probably did us a big favour, to be honest, and our laundry. So we have had some work getting things back into place. And so I thought I'd take you through where I'm up to in my studio. So walking in from outside, you can see the floors still aren't done, but that's okay. They're dry, which is the main thing. They will be done last. So I think I might even just paint the floors down here now with a really good concrete paint. But the walls are done. You can see I've used the leftover green from my bathroom on some of the walls. You can see I have some of my vintage needlepoints back up. I've moved a few things around, taken advantage of having everything out. So I've moved my little vintage cupboard to here. So these are all my vintage big textiles and finished quilt tops. So I've got a whole heap of lovely tea towels there. These are all the old flags that were part of the set I found when I was doing Nautica. A heap of tablecloths, doonas, and then all my little suitcases that are full of doily goodness. What's in this one? Some white stuff. What's down here? Don't look at my floor because I haven't swept. And then this is all scraps. It's Humpty Dumpty. Isn't he gorgeous? For Christmas from Mum. My Nana's old basket. I think that's Sagittarius sitting in there. Is it? Yes, it is. And so this bit's all remained the same. I've done a big clean up off the floor just so, I mean, we are doing some flood mitigation work, but just so if the water does come through again, I have very little. Hopefully that will actually hit the water. My table stayed the same here in the middle. I've just made it accessible on all sides. I'm taking advantage of putting lots and lots of stuff hanging up out of the way. And my big cupboard here has all my collections of buttons and beautiful old buckles and things. Let me show you my white buttons. Can I get that out with one hand? Let's try. I don't know. And I'll hook it through there, see if that works. The buttons, and more buttons. Collections of measuring tapes, and then up the top I've got my boxes and baskets, so ribbons and laces and trims and bits and pieces. So that's all stayed the same. I've moved this desk over here with this lovely doll's house. That will be a project somewhere in the future. And bits and pieces that I'm working on at the moment are kind of carefully and methodically, not really haphazardly, shoved onto this table. Here's my little doll's house that I'm working on. I hope to get back onto it in the upcoming holidays. My basket's up. I think this one is full of rickrack. This one is full of fabric that have big, pictures. I think this is what I sent over to Mum. She was making our new little grandbaby an I Spy quilt. So these are all goodies that just came from my friend Lorraine. Oh, thank you, Lorraine, that I've yet to put away. What's left of my scrapbooking life all those years ago, some papers, and then this little guy is completely chock-a-block with all my vintage needlepoints and doilies and stuff that I'm using at the moment. Over here, a couple of Roxy bits and pieces. I think that's my son just coming down. My beautiful little old buffet. On this wall so far, I've only put this one back up because there's a little bit of work to do down the bottom yet. We have to take the skirting boards off. But he's there along with Gordon. Gordon is an Ann Wood pattern. He's very judgmental. And on my table, I have panel 8 of Home is Where the Heart Is. So I have it here. I'm working on it, and I've just got a few bits and pieces around. I like to work from trays. These are little cardboard trays that I made just with some wadding, that I've got some, little sort of embroidery and applique pieces ready to use. And then the trays that I work from each have different purposes. That's all doilies, etc. These little bits of fabric, it's the last of their kind that need to be used. And then these are just things that I've actually specifically picked for this project. And that's good because they all stack. Now this room did finish here. As you can see, I have got Nautica hanging. So it's been really good with the little bit of change that I've been able to get 2 sets of hanging rails, one here and one here, that actually hang the whole length of the room. So Nautica has been, in a basket under the table for a while. So I've just hung her up to air her out, and I've gone through and done a few repairs. I'm going to show her at the Bundaberg Quilters show later in the year. So I'm just giving her a bit of time to stretch out, and there was a few little bits and pieces that needed to be trimmed. So she's getting a fresh lease of life. And now with the renovations and what's happening, this wall is new. As you can see, it's not finished. And I have gained the space behind Nautica. However, I don't have a light in here yet. I mean, it doesn't help that Nautica's hanging. But this is the additional space that I've gained, which is really great. So in here, I have my sewing table. My sewing table. I have my cupboard of apparently works in progress, not the graveyard of works in progress. My really nice little bookcase full of old books, and my chair. And the really exciting news is that that is an outside wall, which means that as part of the renovations, obviously you can see I need to get these finished along the back here, but part of the renovations, I'm going to have a window, 1, and 2, an air conditioner, which is super exciting. That is the toilet thing there from upstairs. So I will put a bit of insulation around that. I don't really need to hear everybody flushing the toilet. And then this is just a storeroom. It's the last one of its kind, and I'm going to just hang a curtain across the front of there because I do still need that. So all of my goodies have been spread out a little bit. I do have some things still to put up. Let me have a look at this side for you. Look at that from the back. It's different with the light through it. So out here, back into the real world, and on this little table, this is where I'm working on my ABC book for my little granddaughter. So I've pulled out all of the bits and pieces that I wanted to use. I started out wanting to do it in red and white or blue and white, and it's just evolved to red blue with a bit of green tied in. So this is where I'm up to with it. I've done A, B, C, D, E, and I've just gone through now and made all the little monograms, letters ready to go. And I need to make some more pages. My little L, N, O, P, Q. There's my rabbit, and I think I've just finished strawberries. So I've got 6 more pages to make. I have all of my the rest of the monograms ready though here to do. They're just all offcuts. So that's my TV, stitching project. I can sit upstairs and just make those little letters. I've just used this stuff to make them. This was the cover of a folder that I picked up from Officeworks. They're good because they're really stiff. And I just was able to, I've just got an old books that was given to me. Who is this from? Might be either from Mum or Chrissy. And then in the back of the book, there are some alphabets here, a couple of different alphabets. I have also used this beautiful old children's colouring in book to trace over some of the letters. I've used that as well, but they're quite big, so depending on the page, if I wanted a bigger letter. So that's how I've made those. I've just traced over those, used the plastic to trace over that, and then put that on a little light box and traced over it so that I have that. And I don't use a hoop or any of that. That's why mine look all bumpy, someone's saying. So that's my little work table. I picked up all these threads at Vinnie's the other day. And my dog has stolen 2 of them, my golden retriever. She's obsessed with them. I don't know why. So I'm going to move them over there out of her reach. And then what's left in here is my fabric cupboard. This has all of my fabric in it. Home is where the heart is, which is up on the wall. The first 7 are complete, like completely complete. And I'm working to finish the next one before I hang it. And when I go to panel 9, you may have seen that I have a stopwatch on the table. I'm going to actually just turn it on every time I come and work on it, just to see how long it takes me from start to finish to completely do one panel. None of these are stitched together yet. They're all still single pieces. And then on this wall, I've managed to get some more of my vintage needlepoints up. So I have missed a lot of wall space because I've lost that, but I will gain that back once that wall goes back up. We're actually working on the other side of the wall at the moment in my son's bedroom. So this is my view at the moment from my desk. Nautica has done very well from hanging. It's much happier now. It was all crumpled and creased, and all of my bits were going in the wrong direction. So it is important to air our quilts out. And I do have a few little bits. I did see there was a hole, not a hole, but something's been pulled away up here. So I've just gone through and done it kind of square by square and made sure everything is where it needs to be. So I've just booked in to go to Corinne from To Treasures to Be Loved by Corinne is having a retreat at Harvey Bay. And I've just booked to go down to that. So I'm going to take some of these down to do show and tell. So if you're around, come on down and we'll share. So thanks for popping in. Bye.